Within every man, there is the quest for independence, and he always require or desire to be independent. That pride, that arrogance of finding satisfaction and relevance in the strength of self. And it's just a nature that is within every man. And it is finding expression more in the end. The Bible says in the latter days, men will be ingrates, men will be lovers of themselves, and hateful, haters of God. And among the indices of the end time is when men become so much ingrates, unthankful. When something good is done to them, they respond with the attitude as if it was their right. And it's so sad that even this same attitude is being transferred towards God. And instead of being thankful and grateful, they will always murmur. I like the way Paul described this state in the book of Romans, chapter number 1, when he began, and he was saying, begin from verse number 18 is for the wrath of God is reserved. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who suppress the truth in unrighteousness, because what they may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it to them. For since the creation of the world, it says, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, understood by things that are made, even his eternal power, the Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful. You see? Nor were thankful. And he say, and because of that, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. So you get that it is the state of the heart that produces these particular results in human life: apostasy, rebellion, and disdain towards the word of the word and the name of Jesus is what produces this type of a heart. Ingrate, a heart that does not care about anything that is God, a heart that is quick to complain instead of being grateful of what the Lord has done for them. And he say, when we see that, this is an indicator of the end times. Now, you'll find that we are right in those days where men, where women, they are always complaining. They are always arguing and murmuring, never contented. When something is good, they will find a reason to complain as it wasn't good enough as how they expected. When something is not good, they will again vehemently complain about the same, because they are victims of the time. It is the time and the season that have implicated them to behave in that time, in that manner by which they are behaving, because there is a dimension release of the unclean spirit in this dispensation, as it were not in the past. It was not like this in the former days, but now we're experiencing it. Light We are seeing it right in our days, right before our eyes. You see, so and this thing is also it is spilling over up to God. And ingratitudes and thankful men are the fertile ground or the breeding ground of all forms of evil. They are breeders of all forms of evil. It is discontent that brings strife. It is discontentment that brings greed. It is discontentment. You see, and see what Isaiah had told us in chapter 45 and begin from verse 9. He say 45 and verse 9. It says, woe to him who strives with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherd. And where are we? Of the earth, I say, shall the clay say to him who forms it, what are you making? Or shall the handwork say, he has no hands? Woe to him who say to his father, what are you begetting? Or to the woman, what have you brought forth? So, and you will find that this is what is right in our days, where people will try to put a blame or question God. We are seeing it like in our generation, this group of people that are ingrates, they will begin to point out the fault upon God, where somebody begins to think he is not good enough. And there are some things that God reserved that is beyond our power, and he did not consult us for him to decide. And one of it is gender. Second is the parents who begot us. And then the third one is the nationality where we find ourselves. That is beyond our power. And if God has allowed for you to have particular gender, for you to be born with particular parents, and for you to be found in a particular nation, is because he has a purpose for you in that particular nation or that particular home, or with their gender specifically. But there are people who are rising in our generation who suggest to themselves that they don't need to be men again. And they feel that God faltered in making them male. They choose to change their gender. Others are undertaking dangerous surgeries to alter them from becoming male into female. Others are taking, the medications, scientific medications that will interfere with their hormones for breasts to grow. You see, it is so abominable, and that attempt is an outright attack against the sovereignty of God, and that act alone is a slap in the face of God, telling him that he did not know better when he was making you male, when he was creating you female. He didn't know. And you are standing there to be wiser than him, of which you can never. You see? And this move that began, it started with one man. You see, it started with an ingrate heart, the heart that is discontented. Then there are also heretical teaching that are based on this guy, the evolution theory. That's Charles Darwin, who believed that things evolved and were not created. And then when we go ahead now, it has gone rampage where people declare themselves to be atheists are people that does not believe that there is God. So at the end of the day, what are we producing? We're producing a generation that does that which seems good in their own sight, putting aside the principle and the foundation upon which we are built to function correctly, and embrace the wisdom and the knowledge that challenge the order that was placed. And that put us in a state of chaotic and crisis in lives. So at the end of the day, we have inflicted ourselves with pain, sorrows of life. People going ahead, there is now as we are speaking in the world, there is so much need for what we call the mental health. Mental health. God created you with a sound mind. But why are we having people that need they are so much unstable, they have instability in their mind? Is because they have left the path upon which they are founded to function on, and they've entered a different path. And as a result, that's why they need counseling. That's why they need psychiatrists. The psychologists are needed. It was not so in the beginning. When we position ourselves to be wiser than Him that created us, Bible say, can the clay ask the potter, or what vessel have you made? Or can a child ask the father, what are you begetting? This is beyond. It is beyond our capacity, beyond our abilities, not our realm. And anybody trying to challenge the sovereignty of God, or trying to question, looking yourself in the mirror, say, this nose is big, or, my head is big. When you talk like that, do you have the capacity even to make one hair strand on your head to grow? You can't. You are the way you are because you are created that way. There is a specific function that only you can do it. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I don't need to be like anybody. I don't need to look like anybody. At best, let me look like Jesus. Jesus should be the mirror that I want to be like, but not like any other person. So when we walk in, and when our hearts are unthankful and grateful, we attract sorrows in our lives. God didn't create man to walk in sorrow and pain, but when you take part with the counsel or the wisdom of the wicked one, you share into his curse. It is the wisdom and the counsel of the wicked introduced to us. It is because we will function according to the civilization, the secular civilization that he has introduced, and forsake the civilization of Zion. That's why pain and anguish and sorrow is in the world. So think it again. Can a clay ask the potter, what are you making? You see, can a human being ask God why? Can a human being ask God and try to correct God on what He has created? God is perfect in all His ways, and He doesn't need any of your contribution to create you. He already knows what He wanted, and He created you exactly as what He wanted. You may say, but my head is big. Yes, He needed that size of the head because of the purpose He created you to function needed that size of the head. You may say, but my eye socket are large or small. He needed them to be that size so that they can uniquely fit to function, to accomplish the function which He wanted you to accomplish. And if you make them large or small, you will not be able to fulfill that which He created you to do. You see? And you say, oh, I'm male, I desire to be a female. No! According as how God wanted you to exist on this earth, He made you male, so that as a male, you will accomplish the God-given purpose. Changing your gender, changing your side, or trying to alter with the way God created you, it is an act that insults the perfection of God. You are saying you're wiser than God, and you are attracting trouble upon yourself. You see, so that is the place you should not go. And this is what makes him God. You see, I say this is the class that he shared with nobody. He is God because he created. Everything else put together, they can never create. And that's why they are called creature. And that position is what gives him the name as God. He is called God because he created. He was not created. He is called God with everybody. Do you know even the devil himself was created? And he lacked this capacity to create. And when you try to question him and try to, like advising him on how you ought to look, that is how you attract, that's how you attract trouble in your life. I understand the world that we are in, it is the world that is already fallen. It is functioning on the fallen system of corruption and greed. It is not the original world that God created. You see, it was born out of judgment. So you find even if you are righteous, still you will suffer on the earth. But you rather suffer as doing righteousness instead of suffering as the one fighting and challenging the already established institutions of that governs this life. You see, so that is a very important thing that you really need to go back and check it. You see, shalom. I pray that we'll catch up the next time and stay blessed. And the Lord will open to us what we need to know more as we yield ourselves to him and not allow it.